There are times in your life where you will meet someone who does not like you. In a perfect world, each person we interact with would be nice, kind, considerate, mindful, generous, and more. They would get our jokes, and we would get theirs. We would all thrive in a convivial atmosphere where no one was ever cross, upset, or maligned. However, we don't live in a perfect world. Some people drive us crazy, and we, admittedly, drive a few mad as well. Those we dislike are inconsiderate, rushed, malign our character, question our motives, or just don't get our jokes at all but expect us to laugh at all theirs. They may be a spouse of a family member or a coworker that you need to work closely with. In those scenarios, you'll want to have the skills to navigate the situation without making it worse than it needs to be. How do you deal with the people that don't like you? They treat those they don't like with civility. Whatever your feelings are for someone, that person will be highly attuned to your attitude and behavior and will likely reflect it back to you. If you are rude to them, they will likely throw away all decorum and be rude to you too. It is on you to remain fair, impartial, and composed. Cultivating a diplomatic poker face is important. You need to be able to come across as professional and positive, an organizational psychologist and author of The Blame Game. This way you won't stoop to their level or be sucked into acting the way they do. Identify what bothers you about the person. Get clear about what's driving you nuts. Stick to the facts and do your best to keep your emotion out of it. When you identify what bothers you and dig a little deeper to go beyond the behavior, you can arrive at a strategy that helps you deal with the person and their behavior in the most positive way possible. Accept you won't like everyone. People always hope to like someone when they meet, but in reality, it is not the case. You cannot get along with everyone you meet, but it does not mean they are bad. It just means you have to deal with them differently. Some people might be dominant and some timid, but that does not make them hateful at all. So you don't enjoy talking to them much, so accept it and deal with them differently. Release your anger and frustration. The worst thing you can do with not being liked dwells on it. It's something that needs to be pushed out of your mind when you're not actively engaged in dealing with it. Otherwise, it will cause you unnecessary stress and anxiety. You don't want to live your life dreading interactions with a person that doesn't like you and that you can't avoid. Don't let them have free room and board in your head. They don't deserve it. Do whatever it takes to get those thoughts out of your head. Ground yourself at the moment and focus on whatever activity needs to be done. It will help pull your mind away from dwelling on the dealings you had with that person. Keep your distance. If you can afford to stay away from someone you don't like, doing just that might actually be the best thing for everyone involved. Find ways to avoid the person if you can. For instance, if you know your nosy cousin is coming to a family barbecue, you might arrive late because you know she tends to leave after an hour. If you absolutely must be around the person, at least put some space between the two of you. Try working in a separate area if this person is a coworker or classmate. At a meeting or dinner, grab a seat on the opposite end of the table to limit interactions. Don't allow anyone to limit your happiness. No matter how bad a person behaves with you, don't allow them to limit your happiness or success. Do not listen to other people's complaints and focus on what is the thing that is making you anxious. You must understand that restricting yourself, whom you can work with, will make you limiting yourself. Therefore, take proactive measures that help you get along with difficult people and manage the interactions before they take a turn for the worst. Remember that they're only human just like you. They're not perfect, but neither are you. Everyone has some characteristic about them that may annoy others, you included. When you have to be around this person, get honest with yourself. Ask yourself why you are so bothered. Sometimes you may not like a person because there's something about them that reminds you of yourself. For instance, maybe you can't stand your coworker's incessant need to get attention because you secretly yearn for attention from others too. Bond with like-minded people. Don't go into battle alone. Find people to support you. Trying to tackle a difficult person or a septic relationship on your own will likely backfire because it's hard to gain perspective when you feel entrenched.